I just got done watching a movie with him on Netflix called The Five Bloods, and they were showing his picture. They were like, "Man, he's dead," but the character was actually dead, and the real guy's actually dead. I was tripping out for a second.
That's wild.
They said they actually did an interview. We'll jump into that. We'll jump into that in a second. But what's going on, Piglets? It's your boy Taylor B. I know it's been a while. Forgive us. And I'm joined by my co-hosts Daniel and Joey. How y'all fellas been? I know it's been a minute. How y'all been? Y'all doing all right?
I'm really hoping this COVID thing lasts a little bit longer. Okay.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm starting to have fun buying these masks, fam. I'm not gonna lie. I got 7 masks in here. I got one for each day of the week. It's kind of getting fun.
But when the virus goes away, that doesn't mean you have to stop wearing masks.
But I mean, there's going to be no point to wear it if the virus goes away.
A lot of people have been wearing masks because of SARS and all that other stuff, like for a while. Like it's just been a thing. Like, I don't want to breathe in this dirty ass outside air or whatever, But I mean, to each their own. I don't judge. I've
been fired up lately.
Wow.
No, yeah, the California's on fire right now.
Oh, can we joke about that? Is that okay? I mean, I've seen a lot of jokes.
It's natural. What are you supposed to do?
I've seen a ton of jokes on Facebook from like, oh, now all of California knows it's a boy or something like that. Like,
oh my God. I already told y'all my song, man. All the hills are black and the sky is gray. California's burning. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's fires out here. There's fires in Oregon. There's fires in Washington. All the West Coast is pretty much burning up. I know San Francisco got it bad. It's like red out there. Like the sky is red. Like everything has like a red hue to it. Like out here, it was pretty bad too. But I feel like it's mostly contained now. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna look at this Cal Fire report right now.
I know it's dangerous. I know it's dangerous, and apart from the man-made fires, but like, and like natural fire is pretty cool though.
Yes.
I mean, like, just keep it real, right? Fire is pretty cool to me.
I was telling somebody else, like, I love the smell of a forest fire.
What the fuck?
Wow.
All those Greenpeace people hate your ass.
It's. I guess it's just like the smell of like the bark from this different type of trees all at once, and it's just like, man, it actually smells kind of good, low key. But
I love the smell of burning organisms in the morning.
Daniel's just trying to find some new wood chips for his barbecue pit. He ain't doing that special.
So right here, Cal Fire says that the fire that's out here is like 17,665 acres. They contained about 69% so far, and it's been active for 6 days.
69%. That's what's up. So that's crazy, actually. They sent there was some Mexican firefighters from Mexico. I shouldn't just say Mexican, but there was firefighters from Mexico crossing over into the United States to help fight these fires in California. They're like in the Bay Area right now.
I heard someone to Oregon.
So we get outside help.
Yep.
Yeah, Oregon too.
And then I heard they got inmates helping to fight firefighters. I think Governor Newsom just released something about trying to help inmates that like were part of these programs to become firefighters after they get out and stuff.
Right, because that's nothing new. Every year when we have fires, inmates have been called upon to, hey, like, y'all in here, like, what's up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they've been done that, but everybody knows inmates don't get paid shit for anything. You know what I mean? Like, even if they do it cents on cents on cents. So it's like, yeah, if you're going to be out here getting all this experience and fighting fires, why shouldn't you be able to get out of jail and be like, hey, I done this shit, so what's up?
Get a job? Yeah.
Exactly.
Man, the first time I ran into one of those crews, I was out in Tahoe, right? And it was a big red Cal Fire truck shows up, and everybody said, yo, that's the prison. They're here to, help us out. And I was just like, okay. But what they didn't tell us, but it was at the female prison. So I kid you not, like we're all like trying to like stay away, but then you would walk by and hear people go, psst, hey, come here.
Oh, hell no. Daniel got a thing for Latinas too, and I know they'd be locked up. That's just 100. That's crazy. Gosh. But yeah, I've actually I actually have a friend who her brother actually fought some fires last year and I believe the year before, and she pretty much told me like, yeah, they're out there like getting like real training and like, like on the spot training, like, oh, can you guys do this? Can you, man this hose, help this, help that? But then, it's like 10 cents a day and then just go back to prison. You know what I mean? So I'm glad at least somebody in our government is trying to make some moves. When I saw the news break about the bill that he signed to get these people, their experience noticed, I guess, once they're out of prison. But I saw these people on social media attacking them already, like, y'all just want all the black and brown people in prison to go out and fight the fires on the front lines and blah, blah. And this, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because of all the social injustice and all that bullshit coming up. But you should have seen this one girl that was like overdoing it. Everybody and their mama was on her helmet, bro, on Instagram. It was such a beautiful thing because, like, it's cool, like, when people come together, but sometimes that togetherness is because of negative shit, but I still like it.
Yeah.
it was white and black people talking about, the fuck are you talking about, bitch? Like, it was really on her helmet. It was cool.
Yeah, sometimes you got to band together to roast the right people, man, for the right reasons. But I mean, a lot has happened since we've been gone, obviously. I feel like we should just start off with this because I don't know, it just feels right. Unfortunately, we lost Chadwick Boseman about 2 weeks ago. It was really unexpected. Nobody at all knew that he was sick. As a matter of fact, it seems like even like co-stars, like from the Marvel, Kevin Feige, his Marvel co-stars, the guys that worked on the Five Bloods, they had no idea. It was really super unexpected, and kind of back to what you were saying earlier, Daniel, when you were talking about his character in the Five Bloods. There's like an older guy in the movie. I actually haven't seen it, but there's an older guy in the movie who was saying that when he first saw the movie, or when they were doing the job or whatever, they're carrying like 40-pound backpacks or whatever. They're walking through the jungle or forest or whatever. And he said he thought that Chadwick Boseman was like a little bit sweet because like he thought like he had to get like pampered every time, like they were done filming or whatever. He would be like getting a massage or whatever and like, full relaxation mode and all that stuff, And it was an interview that happened actually recently, and he started crying because he didn't realize the reason why that this was happening for him, because he wasn't, going through so much and enduring so much. And it kind of goes back to that old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, like, and you never know what people are going through. And it's obviously a shame for multiple reasons. I just feel like it's, he played a lot of prominent figures in our history, like real life people, as well as fictional characters, and those people, all the people that he's played kind of impacted us in some way, shape, or form throughout our history, especially, Black people, minorities, and particularly at like all of us as minorities, as well as, our kids and stuff too, with the character of Black Panther. Real quick, just to highlight a couple of his movies, he had 42. He had, what is that, 47 bridges or something like that? Am I 21 bridges
and 42 is a movie about Jackie Robinson. So that was kind of a breakthrough movie. Black Panther was a breakthrough movie. Mm-hmm. What else was he in?
They actually
Bloods, which is coming out soon.
They actually put 42 back in the movie theaters. Just because he's dead.
That's wild. He actually also passed away on Jackie Robinson Day, which is nuts because they rescheduled it since the season was all messed up or whatever. And the day that they rescheduled it for, he actually passed away on that day, which is super crazy.
Oh, man, you shouldn't have mentioned that. Now my conspiracy head is just going crazy right now.
Well, they say that two of the most like powerful numbers are like numbers that like mean a lot in like math or whatever. I don't know if it's math or if it's like just numbers in general. Well, I guess like this is the same thing or whatever. But 23, so Michael Jordan, and 42, Jackie Robinson, are two like the most like powerful numbers or prominent numbers or whatever. Those are two numbers that I actually notice a lot in life. Like,
where'd this come from? Where's this coming from?
This is just something that I was told years and years ago, randomly, and I realized it like that. I just see those numbers a lot. I don't know. I don't really remember the conversation of how it got brought up or like who the person was like watching or following to determine that or whatever. But the number 23 and the number 42, I just kind of realized are kind of very prominent. Like,
that's kind of weird. I've heard other numbers that I've seen a lot more often or have meant other stuff. Like I know in the Bible, the number 40 is big. Also, What's the other one? This another one's weird. I've heard stuff like this before. I think it's 66. That's also like the amount of books in the Bible, and that's also the year my parents were born. So I don't know. Maybe that's
it comes from this thing called numerology, where certain numbers are attributed to certain amount of energies and a certain amount of and it basically, if you can tear down everything into a certain amount of numbers, whether it's your name, your address, the times you were born, it all means something according to these people that follow numerology. And it's crazy. It's crazy that you brought up the 42, because what's 42 backwards? And we lost Kobe too, so I'm just saying, maybe it's connected.
I'm sorry, I can't get down with this mumbo jumbo right now. The fact is, numbers exist. You know what I'm saying? Everything has that. What's it called? Like binary code.
Yeah,
like 011001. That's how they name every element and stuff like that, to extremes. I'm not going to dig too deep into it. I see a bunch of numbers. Everybody makes wishes after seeing 1111. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's 7:00 on the dot.
Wow.
Type of Usher stuff. Like, they're just numbers, but it's cool to play with it. But every time somebody of importance passes away, you always see somebody on social media in the comments start to go super deep diving into like numerics and meanings. I'm not gonna lie, it's still entertaining. But after I'm done reading it, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then like a second later, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like I always do the same shit. You know what I mean? But it's really interesting though. Especially. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick. I want to let Daniel talk about his whole Black Panther thing. But before he does that, I just want to make it known the significance of the character Black Panther, being that he's kind of like our first like super big, ginormous, publicly celebrated superhero that we've had in the Black community.
Whoa! Did you guys not watch Blank Man?
First of all, come on. That was a hell of a movie. I love Blank Man because of the creativity of it, and it's like a broke Batman, and he's smart. But he had to be like super weird and awkward and like kind of corny and stuff. And it was like, it just wasn't like, it was like there, but it wasn't there. It's like people we love Blank Man, but it's like,
I'm pretty sure
we're like, hell yeah, man, Blank Man, that's our guy. Everybody wants to be
anybody. For anybody who's never seen Blank Man, you got to watch that shit. It's Damon Wayans and David Allen Greer is his brother. But and happy late birthday to Damon Wayans. He's 60 now. He just turned 60 like a few days ago. I know, caught me by surprise. That means Marlon and Sean Wayans are like clear into their 40s, and that's rare to me too.
Dang, that's crazy.
Old ass family, I know. But go ahead, Daniel. What you got to say?
Well, first of all, the Black Panther isn't our first Black superhero. Hello, Shaft.
That is not.
He didn't say first.
I didn't say first.
Hey, Denzel in Training Day. Who else?
What is happening?
But
Black Panther's who we claim. All right, Black Panther's one that we're claiming. King shit. This is in our culture. This is a stepping off point. It's not the end.
I agree with you. I'm just saying Shaft was there first. But but the part I was talking to Brandon about, it's just a negative thing about when celebrities die is when the fake people come out. And I've had so many people come up to me just because I was their Black friend. First of all, did you hear Black Panther died? And then I was just like, man, did you hear Chadwick Boseman died? Who's that? Like, if y'all don't get out of here with this fake, it's such a sad thing, and this and that. I want to identify with my Black friends. I'm gonna bring up the Black person that I didn't really care about that died because we had a conversation about it.
I got a quick comeback for that one. When one of my favorite rappers, Nipsey Hussle, was murdered, I didn't call him Asgadome. You know what I'm saying? I called him Nipsey Hussle, which was his stage name. I mean, but I know a movie character is different, but a lot of times people is only going to know a stage name as opposed to that person's personal name. You know what I'm saying?
You can't at least say T'Challa then? You can't say T'Challa? Black Panther died. Okay, he's got a lot of iterations going on in the world right now. There's a ton of versions of him. That's Black Panther is literally a mantle. I feel like that's why it's more hurtful, because I get where the sentiment is, but without you saying at least like the specific character that he's playing, like T'Challa, then it's kind of like it feels less sincere and more just like Daniel said, like, oh, I'm just trying to connect with my black friend right here. But I got the same thing, text messages, man, y'all heard Black Panther died? Dang, Black Panther died, bro. Are you all right? Like, what the fuck, nigga? Yeah, I'm fine.
But for the same, I get that, but for the same reasons why you had that opening statement about Black Panther is the same reasons why people were opening up to that with you guys. Like you said, it was the first like world-renowned black superhero type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like people associated that with a person of importance. Not to say he's not, but I'm just saying like people understand that Black Panther is something that's like it's almost like a household like household now. Whether you watched it or not, you're comfortable talking about it because you understand like
a billion sold. Well, not sold, but made $1 billion. So it's definitely a big one.
I mean, not only that, but possibly the greatest rapper of all time was leading that soundtrack.
Oh yes.
I'm not. We don't have to go into there, but you know what I'm saying. TDE's definitely top.
You know, I also want to point out that a lot of people always talk about, dang man, it's been 3 years since Kendrick Lamar dropped an album, and completely forget the fact that he did that Black Panther soundtrack, and it was
won a Grammy with that shit.
Yes, it won a Grammy, and it was phenomenal. That soundtrack was great.
Also, I hate that. I know we're getting a little off track, but when it comes to music, you know how our minds go. I hate that rap is so differently graded to as opposed to the other genres of music. Like most rap now, people say, "Oh, if you're not continuously putting out more and more and more and more, you either fell off or you don't got it." Yeah. But when it comes to singers like Adele, Ed Sheeran, and shit like that, they can take a 2-3 year break, 4-year break. John Legend, people like that can take years to live their life and then come back and make music and still win awards. But when you're a rapper, they say you either fell off or you don't got it no more. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like you're ungrateful. Then people start pressuring you. So I'm actually glad Kendrick and Cole and them take their breaks and kind of clap back at society, because that whole keep pushing it out for us shit is kind of dead. And we'll just leave that to the 17-year-olds mumble rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not the same. So I kind of don't like the hate that Kendrick's been kind of, you know, receiving lately because of his choice to not put out music.
Hey man, honestly, if it ain't that collab album with J. Cole, I don't want to hear it, damn it.
You stupid. You gonna listen to it.
You definitely listen.
You a damn lie. You a damn lie. You know, damn well you gonna be the first person trying to break down those lyrics in the code.
Speaking of which, Kendrick Lamar is actually spotted recently out in LA performing or filming a music video. There were some shots of him over the water, like he was being like held up by a crane and like kind of floating above the ocean. And then there was another shot of him like on a street corner somewhere too. So
they did the same thing to Osama bin Laden. So
wow,
we'll see. Remember that? Jeez, 9/11 just yesterday. Was it yesterday?
9/11.
Yesterday was 9/11. By the way, our people listening, you know we're recording on Saturday, September 12th.
Rest in peace to all those that lost their lives in that tragic day, and also, prayers to the families of all the victims. You know, I know a lot of people are still dealing with like issues from that whole incident. All the buildings and everything, like all the dust in their lungs or whatever. People still got medical problems and all that stuff going on. I just seen something that I don't really want to talk about, having to do with Trump and his family siphoning some stuff, but we ain't gonna get into that. I want to stay on the music thing because I totally forgot to add this in the docket, but the XXL ciphers came out. I don't know if y'all watched all of them. I want to point out something too real quick before we really deep dive into this, if we're going to deep dive into this at all. Baby Keem, we had a little conversation about him.
Oh yeah,
remember? And I said, man, this was kind of like I was really feeling his freestyle. And then when I had mentioned to Joey, I believe, or in a group chat that he is pretty much been exposed that Kendrick Lamar has written some of his raps, and we kind of said we're not the type that be like, oh, just write him off because he's got a ghostwriter. Like I get it, maybe you're not the most creative person.
It's his what?
You said what?
But it's his what?
But it's his cousin. It's his cousin. Yeah,
they're blood cousins.
Yeah.
So I really got no problem with it. That's a family affair as far as I'm concerned, whether it's Kendrick or not.
Exactly, for sure. But here's the problem that I have now, though, because I didn't have no issues with the ghostwriting once it was exposed, whatever. And I actually think Kendrick should have just kept those songs and put them out himself because they sound great. But he's probably trying to look out for other people and put them on or whatever. Which makes sense, especially your family. Yeah, more revenue in the family. All right, I bet. I ain't finna be the only millionaire in here. Somebody else got to get this bread too. But anyway, The ciphers came out, like I said, and all three of the groupings came out. Baby Keem was nowhere to be found. I have somewhat of an issue for that, or somewhat of an issue with that. Not necessarily because I don't think he can rap or anything. I'm sure he can to some degree or whatever. He's also a fairly new rapper. I'm sure he has some talent level. He wouldn't just be there for no reason. I hope, at least, fingers crossed. I might not know what the fuck I'm talking about, but it kind of sucks because it makes me think about like somebody who maybe doesn't have as much notoriety as him, considering he works with acts, that from TDE. I feel like he doesn't really need something like this, and this could have gone to somebody else who maybe needed that little push. That another name that maybe we don't know about. Because I feel like when it comes to West Coast artists, like we know them at least. Maybe some other people don't know them maybe as well. But like 24K Golden or whatever, I never heard of him. Cowboy, I never heard of him. Mulatto, I just heard about her because of the WAP video, and like a couple other artists on there, and it's like. This is more, I feel like it should be more of a showcase for people who are like kind of on the cusp and they're right there. And, you can give them a good launch. But if he's already getting the cosigns from TDE artists, he don't really need this,
Well, then how do you feel about Sir's brother who was on that D Smoke, who was on that contest when he was already connected to TDE and Sir and all that? I mean, he wasn't part of that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really need the boost of confidence or the shine or anything like that.
Yeah, you already knew you had it. Yeah, like that's another one too. That like once you had exposed that, it kind of made me rethink it a little bit because it's like, well, dang, that's not really fair. Like, you're already clearly a talented individual. You don't need this. Like, I'm sure he would have found it some way or another, but it's kind of like, okay, well, you just kind of went a route that like you were able to win easily because you're already super talented. And it's like you come from a musically gifted family. You're a great musician yourself. Like, you had that in the bag. You were going to get it no matter what. But I feel like somebody else that doesn't have any of those connections, it should be the one that is winning these contests, getting these showcases, winning these contests because they need the notoriety. You're going to find your way no matter what. You have the talent. You have the connections,
These outlets and companies aren't in the morality business, though.
That is true. That's definitely true, too. Always going to be true. Shoot.
So it's not like, we can, not everybody's nice. And ultimately, with or I don't want to call them a program, but with, I guess what do we call it? Double XL is a magazine. So I guess with like magazines and like corporations and stuff like this that put together stuff, ultimately the people in control are still in it for the almighty dollar. You know what I'm saying? So not only they're trying to mix and match with new people, new talent. Where are they pulling fan base from? And then like, can we market off of it? So We complain about it, but then obviously we all just kind of like get with it or get lost at some point.
It's definitely still entertaining to see, but then it's kind of like once you kind of realize or start putting the pieces together, it's kind of like, dang, like when you're blind to all that stuff or you don't know any of the backstory or nothing like that, or like the background information, you kind of can enjoy it more than when you kind of do a deeper dive and kind of like look into certain things or see the exposures of certain things. And you're just like, dang, like that kind of changes my view on how I saw this show or saw this showcase or whatever, it's like, it kind of changes a little bit. Not that it's still bad. Like, I'm still glad that D Smoke did get a shine. He's famous. He's in there now for real. His name is getting super exposed. People are working with him. He's got a lot of legendary artists working with him now, And so it's like, it's great for him, But it's kind of like, but I still at the same time feel like this should really go to somebody else who really doesn't have that connection, those ties or whatever, somebody who really needs it, somebody who could use it and maybe a different area, maybe an unknown area or something, but I mean, it is what it is. And, we don't have no say in that. That's not our show, not our showcase or whatever. So it is what it is, but whatever. But what did you think about the ciphers overall? Did you like them? Did you enjoy them at all? Or I thought it was like, it was
That's on Daniel. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm gonna watch it.
I heard the first two. I haven't heard the last one that came out. I don't know anybody that you mentioned anyway, so I'm not really that interested. But
I don't know either.
But that's why they're the freshmen. They're trying to expose them to us.
But I heard the guy I was rooting for, he didn't really do that good. He did less than I was hoping for. But the person that's like stuck in my head right now is Chica.
Oh hell
just because she was holding that damn dog, fam. Like I cannot get that image out of my head of her rapping with that dog, looking like a straight up boss, looking like a super villain out here, like she should be a Spider-Man or something, talking about coming out the shadows. Like, and I said this thing, but I was just like, I can't get that image out of my head. So to me, I feel like she won.
She also recently just dropped a Tiny Desk on NPR too. So on YouTube, if you guys want to check that out, that's like the rawest form right there because they use live instruments. So
facts,
you get like her bars and like all her breathing patterns and everything. So you guys might want to check that one out too on Chica.
For sure. I think she did the best as well for the cypher. I feel like for the freestyles, my favorite one was probably Polo G, which actually made me look into his music a little bit. I actually kind of like him. I feel like you could really tell he comes from the streets and he has, or at least has friends that are super tight in it, and he's kind of dedicating his music to that. Like he's living like a real life versus trying to talk about like luxury and just to kind of talk shit to just talk shit, like I kind of like that when I can really see like, man, y'all are living out here, y'all roughing it, it's not just easy come, I made it, I got all my money. It's like, no, like I don't lost some people, some things that happen, and I'm here, and I'm gonna keep pushing, and I don't know, you just kind of hear the realness in his like in his music. I don't even know how to explain it really, but she could definitely bar you to death for real though. I really can't wait to see more from her. It kind of makes me sad because I hope the same thing doesn't happen with her that happened to Tierra Whack, because after she came out in the XXL and she dropped her album or like her mixtape, whatever, in like 2018, we haven't really heard, we heard like a couple singles from her, but she hasn't really been anywhere. I haven't seen her on anything. I haven't really heard anything from her. I haven't heard a single from her at all this year, as far as I know. I haven't really checked, I guess. But
think about one of the other best female rappers out right now, Rhapsody. She don't hardly get any recognition or play still. The only time she does is when she's around her, her group mates.
I feel like that album did a lot for her though. Her last album, I feel like a lot of people were on that, like sharing it, like, oh, y'all got to listen to this, So that's why I'm really more so like, man, like, are y'all just not making music? Are y'all just kind of taking it easy because of the quarantine or whatever? I mean, which is, I don't blame you, but a lot of people are out here still working, still making music, still making moves or whatever, doing whatever they're doing, And speaking of making moves, Travis Scott, how about that Travis Scott meal, huh? Have y'all had it yet?
Bruh, he's such a bag chaser because the whole I don't know about you guys, but there's a whole thing on Black Twitter right now about let's give up fast food. Everybody go start building up your gardens and growing your own food. Stop trusting this and stop trusting that. And here come old Travis Scott. every time there's a movement and people are like, oh man, the Kardashians is wild, him and Kylie broke up, she got a whole new boyfriend, and then now he dropping McDonald's stuff. Like, he's a bag chaser, but ultimately you're telling a bunch of teenagers to go to McDonald's. Like, I'm fat and I get it, what I'm saying, I'm still gonna go, but it's cool and all. He got t-shirts and stuff, but I didn't think it was that much of a big deal. I don't think Travis Scott is going to be McDonald's new savior of some sort. And I don't even think they needed saving. They still got a cheap menu.
Yeah, they definitely did. I definitely don't think they needed saving. I think it's just a collaboration to maybe boost sales or something, kind of get a popular item out there. The merchandise is wild. I don't know why the hell anybody would wear something just because it says McDonald's.
Watch out for McDonald's to pop up in Fortnite.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
Man, I really don't like this move. I feel like they're targeting our inner city youth kids to be obese and out of shape even more so. No, I'm just playing. But
no, you're right.
I would agree. But the fact is, all those things still exist, man. So what you supposed to do?
For real,
you gonna tell somebody to not get a bag, even if they don't wholeheartedly believe in it. He might just be doing it because he genuinely really likes that quarter pounder with cheese and lettuce and pickles and mayo and whatever,
some bacon or whatever. Yeah,
right. He might genuinely just really like that. But
my brother posted a picture of his the other day. I was like, oh man.
Let's put it this way: I ain't never physically seen Shaq put on any Gold Bond, so I'm not hating. You know what I'm saying? Like you ever think about all the celebrities that be selling those products? Like I never actually watched them use it. Like I never seen Dan Marino sit down and eat like NutraFast. You know what I'm saying? Like I never watched those things happen. So that's why I said to me it's just a bag chase and it's a cool story, but it's something to get over with quick because ultimately it's just gonna be little kids going, "Can I get the Travis Scott toy?" Yeah. Here you go, boy or girl. You know
I saw a video where this guy rolls up to the McDonald's and he goes, "You know I'm here," and he's like, "All right, want anything else?" And then the guy just starts laughing, and then Travis Scott's song starts playing, and it's just like, dang, dude, like if I was working at fast food right now, which I've never had, thank God, but I'd be fucking pissed. Everybody coming to the damn drive-thru, I'd be like, all right, you want the Travis Scott meal? Anything else with that? Like, just as soon as somebody comes to the window, I'd be like, all right, here you go. Ready on deck.
They missed an opportunity there.
Travis Scott's.
They
start hitting you with all the ad libs and shit.
They missed an opportunity. They could have had Marshawn Lynch roll up and be like, "You know why I'm here," and it would have been legit, bro.
They should really have a Marshawn Lynch bag of Skittles. I guarantee you, the hood would turn out. When I
was stationed at Washington, they had this thing called it was like a double like meal for like from the Seahawks. If the Seahawks scored, I think it was like 2 touchdowns or whatever, then they would give you there was like a meal or whatever, the Seahawks meal. It was like 2 Big Macs, 220 two 20-piece chicken nuggets, and 2 large fries, bro. I used to be up in that mug because it was right outside post. I'm here, my boy. Bro.
I'm well connected in my neighborhood too. If you say my name at Burger King, they'll throw an extra patty on there for you. Joey sent me free cheese.
Yeah, man. What y'all think he got paid for that?
Oh, I'm not watching that man's pockets. He got way too much. He got more money than he can afford to spend. Like it's time. Like he can't afford the time to just like spend all that money.
I feel like I'm gonna throw a number out there. I think he got like $20 million for this.
I think he's selling them short, low key.
You think more?
Bro, commercials cost like $1.5 million for like a 30-second spot, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Especially for the Super Bowl. For the Super Bowl, it's definitely that high. I don't know about normal.
Oh, yeah, it's dumb high. But yeah, I don't. He's definitely getting paid a extreme amount of money.
It's crazy just to help endorse and make some merchandise for some of this. Wow, that brand.
I'm not a pocket watcher, but
him and Sahai are getting paid. Let's be honest. He probably wrote the commercial anyway.
Oh, because that whole Sci-Hi wrote some of his stuff. I'm telling you, you got to remember, a lot of these people who came through the industry as beat makers, their primary objective with music is not writing. So we went through a 5 to 10 year period where we was mad hating on anybody who didn't write their own lyrics. But we got to understand all the classic music and how music started back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s. There were panels of people who used to be professional writers to write music for these people's specific voices. So I don't know why we're so hard on people today, and maybe they're not as talented all around as others, but I don't think somebody writing their own music is the biggest. It's not so much of an issue to me personally anymore, because I give praise to the people who actually write it. So unless you're not finna acknowledge them, then I guess it's easy to just hate on people who don't write their own stuff. But we had literal like rap beefs in the last 5 years because he didn't write his own songs, and the whole world was like, ooh, like you know what I'm saying? Like you're not supposed to do that shit. So Meek Mill came after Drake, Pusha T came after Drake, you know what I'm saying? Like, but ultimately Pusha T, your best man, and the only reason why you got any paper is Kanye West, and people write for him.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say something. Hold on, this train going by.
Wow. I caught that's that Kanye interview. Hold on. I caught that shit. Okay. We're gonna have to run that soundbite at the end or something. That's wild. But yeah, it's like how you gonna hate on somebody for something when there's people in your direct circle doing the same?
That's a fact, man. That's a fact.
And I ain't even that mad at it. I mean, how many songs has Pharrell written for somebody and that song did very well?
Probably
nobody gonna. It just depends on who writing it, right? Like
Babyface.
Right. If I'm famous and somebody, or if I got a little bit of clout and I'm making music and somebody famous writes a song for me to perform, nobody gonna say shit. But if the homie down the street write a song, they gonna talk about, oh, he don't even write his own shit, bro. He bogus. That's what I don't like. It could be anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many hits did Sia have to write for Beyonce and Rihanna and Avril Lavigne? And you know what I'm saying? Like, how many hits did she have to write before she finally dropped her own album? You know what I mean? And then she finally gets some credit. So it is what it is. We're in a producer world right now, and artists are just kind of puppets. You know what I'm saying? Producing is at an all-time high right now. Beat making, all-time high.
That's a fact. That's a big fact. Y'all want to move over to sports real quick? I mean, before we kind of list off the new releases in like music, games, and movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can do that.
I know the NFL just came back right now. We got the first game out of the way, and it was the Chiefs versus the Texans. And before the game started, they actually did like a moment of unity, and it was supposed to be a moment of silence. And keep in mind, the stadium was not full. It was like limited seating, and
17,000.
And they had to be social distanced or whatever. And when the team came together for a moment of silence against racial inequality, guess what the fans decided to do? You got it, folks. They decided to boo the hell out of it because
time out. All right, so I was actually watching a live podcast show that I watched on the weekday, and they were going over it. And to completely just generalize an entire fan base of the Chiefs and saying that everybody booed with that's kind of wrong.
But I'm sure not everybody booed.
The Chiefs are a very vocal bunch of people, but I saw 3 or 4 different angles or videos of that moment, and all of them pretty much, I didn't hear boos. I heard a lot of people saying Chiefs, like Chiefs, and also people were hyped just because football was back. So I'm pretty sure when they said there was going to be a moment of silence, people didn't even hear that shit. I'm telling you, there was definitely a large group of people that did not even hear or know that there was a moment of silence. And if you ever notice at every single sporting event, every time the other team steps on the field, what does the home crowd do?
They boo.
100. So I'm not exactly completely invested in the idea that people were linking arms and they just try to associate it with the whole social injustice, and all these people in the crowd was just booing just because. Like, there may have been some people in there. I'm not trying to say evil people don't exist, but I'm not trying to throw the entire fan base in there like that simply because I don't buy the fact that everybody was in there booing because grown men was linking arms.
Yeah, there reminds me when we went to Flogna and they were like, "Oh, Drake got booed off the stage." I didn't hear one boo.
I was just gonna say that. I was just getting ready to say that.
We lived it, baby. We was in there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We lived literally, probably, other than Drake getting dissed by Pusha T and hiding his son from the world or her world from the sun, we literally lived through Drake's biggest down moment, like on stage. Getting supposedly booed off stage, and I was having a good time. I didn't hear no boos in my section. It must have been all those little Uzi Squirt fans at the very front.
I assume that it was probably like a camera thing, like the distance to certain people, like wherever the cameras are and the microphones, that's probably who's picking up the boos. If maybe near those cameras that people were booing. Same thing for those videos. I think I've only seen three angles from that video besides the one we have too, where you hear people cheering and stuff, remember? But the videos that I saw that got super exposed, it was a lot of you could hear the booing, but it's different areas, different parts of the crowd or whatever. The sound is going to drown that out regardless, even if other parts are cheering or whatever. So I could definitely see it was not the whole fan base, but maybe some of the fan base, It
was a bunch of 17 to 20-year-old white kids booing at Drake. Okay. So in this stadium, is it Arrowhead Stadium?
Yeah.
At Arrowhead Stadium, it was probably definitely 50 to 70-year-old white people booing. You know what I'm saying? Just shift the age range. I hate to do it, but that's
go back to Cincinnati.
100. That's exactly how that felt. But ultimately, it's bro, y'all just won the Super. To the people who actually booed, if you booed because these teams came together, which by the way, a good amount of both of these rosters are minorities. a good amount of sports in America is minorities. First of all, it's not like the only sports is lacrosse and cricket, or golf. Sorry, shout out to Tiger. He's like the one guy. But and Sergio, Daniel knows what I'm talking about. But it's like you would think, especially at sporting events, the white people that watch sports would have already come around, because literally the Olympic teams, other than swimming, the swimming team is filled with black folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're literally how many white people are on the Olympics for the United States? Like, what sport? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not running. It's not the high jump. You know what I'm saying? It's literally kayaking, curling. It's all the winter sports, because, the only black people that's good with snow is the ones from Black Panther. And then y'all laughing because it's 100.
Oh my God.
Not once have any of my black friends told me, invited me to go camping during winter. Not once. So I'm just going off of my experience.
That's because we ain't got no business out there, man.
You would think the white Americans who love and follow sports would have gotten with it by now. So if there really was people booing at signs of unity because there's social injustice, because these people are ultimately people first and athletes second, you got some real problems.
Yeah, and a bunch of people are actually upset with the NFL too, because they tried to have that big old moment for social injustice and equality and all that, and didn't even invite Kaepernick. After they did all that, they want to put him in the game and all that, and didn't even invite him to be a part of anything.
That's okay, but would you have invited Kaepernick to do so? Once you've already publicly apologized, what's Kaepernick going to do there but make more of an example out of you? Kaepernick doesn't want to come back. He had his chance to come back to the NFL, and he didn't want to take it, whether it's morality or not. He had, how many teams was it? 12 to 16 teams ready to go watch him do a workout. And in the last, 30 minutes to an hour, he said, no, we're going to change the location. And 3 teams still went. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't trying to be back into the league. So I don't think the only reason why you should invite Kaepernick to be a part of any events is based off of the whole situation of him getting blackballed because he stood up for something and white fans didn't like it. To me, as the NFL, say you're sorry, say your piece. If Kaepernick wants to come around, you welcome him with open arms, but you don't go reaching. You don't go trying to please mass of people because you made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? That's that whole publicly shame you, but publicly apologize to make you look good. I could care less.
I just don't understand why they put it back in the game.
Yeah, there's no okay. They put Kaepernick in Madden 21 supposedly as what, a free agent?
Yeah, he's a free agent. You can put him on whatever team, and they gave him better stats than Cam and Kyler Murray, which is ridiculous to me, but there you go.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, check that out.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep this 100. It just from a sports aspect. Even that one year that Kaepernick went to the playoffs, right, with San Francisco, he was never better than Cam Newton. He was never better than. I'm sorry, right? I mean, Cam Newton was like damn near MVP, went to a Super Bowl. How can that be? I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting picky with video games, but I don't like it. There's no point.
Y'all know more about that stuff than I do for sure. I just kind of feel like it's just a weird situation, of course, and it's probably always going to be a weird situation because, like you said, I know a lot of people also agree that Cam Newton, or not Cam Newton, but that Colin Kaepernick doesn't really seem anymore like he wants to be in the NFL with kind of like the way he was trying to go about getting into it the last time. Maybe it's for morality reasons. Maybe it's just kind of like, I don't know, kind of more of a game to him now at this point. Maybe he just doesn't need to be back there. Maybe it's just not in God's plan or whatever.
And ultimately, Kaepernick, why would you if I'm Kaepernick's homie, I would ask him why are you, or maybe he's not, which is why he has it no more. But for a time there, I would have asked him, why are you so concerned with the approval of these people in the NFL because you're not playing no more, when you should be holding maybe a lot of your black teammates and stuff like that more accountable, because you're pretty much acting alone and saying that this stuff matters. But a lot of the people who were still there playing, collecting a check and staying quiet for old boy, you didn't have nothing to say toward them.
That's another thing I don't get about the NFL as a whole now either, and kind of just like the players in general. Pretty much piggybacking right off what you said, there's people kneeling today. There's people still talking about it today. There's people kneeling the last couple seasons or whatever. I know there was fines and stuff like that set up. You could stay in a tunnel if you don't want to go out and sign up for the flag or whatever. There's been so much what's the word I'm looking for, commotion and publicity about the kneeling and all that stuff, and then like all we've ever really heard about is Colin Kaepernick versus the NFL. We haven't heard Colin Kaepernick versus like, hey, what the hell is this guy kneeling and nothing's happening to him? Why aren't y'all trying to freaking ostracize this guy like y'all did it to me? You know, or why aren't other people speaking up and saying like, y'all did this to Colin Kaepernick but not to this person? What's the difference? You know, like it's just so crazy.
Because now I feel like it's cool for white people to do it. And I feel like if a white person slips up and they publicly apologize, it's all good in 24 hours. I mean, look at all the people that came after like, is anybody still talking to Drew Brees? What about Brian Urlacher? These are two of the most well-known names in football history. White guys to say something that was maybe not ignorant but completely insensitive.
Oh, like what he said about the NBA? When they took the game off or whatever,
all type of shit, all type. Now, the a side of me who just likes sports, I understand where people are saying there's no place, there shouldn't be a place, even though there is now. There shouldn't be a place in politics for when you think about what sports is just a game. You know what I'm saying? It's a moment in time where a clock starts, a game starts, and the clock ends, the game's over, and that's it. Personalizing everything that happens within that to the outside world is probably not in the best interest of the people who are playing those sports anyway. It's called focus. Get some. You know what I'm saying? And that now you see a lot of people in the NBA bubble and stuff, you know, complaining about, oh, I'm depressed or I'm this or I'm that. And I get it. Everybody's human. You have environments. But these tough times are really exposing people for their mental toughness. And I'm realizing that a lot of people that have a lot of children and family and stuff that look up to them.
Just go ahead and say it, man. Jimmy Butler. You rocking with him. Just go ahead and say it.
Don't even know. Bro, I'm telling you, mental toughness is at an all-time low right now. And the people who are showing it are being made out to be mean, inconsiderate, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? People who are tough and able to keep shit together and do their daily lives without showing too much sympathy left and right. The tougher people are going through it right now because everybody's just throwing them in a corner like assholes and stuff. But ultimately, when you talk about sports, who are the best athletes? The nice guys or no?
It ain't the nice guys.
Hell no. That's what I'm saying. Hell no, the nice guys. LeBron's suffering right now. You seen how far back his hairline went the last 2 weeks?
He back there, Dan Marley range up there.
Going into the NBA, we're at the conference finals now, right, guys?
Almost.
Okay, almost.
The Clippers got to play, and the Lakers got to play. I think game 7 or something, or game 6.
Lakers up 3-1, Clippers up 3-2, and both of their possibly game-ending or series-ending games are today and tomorrow.
And it's got a little bit easier for the Lakers too, because oh boy got kicked out of the bubble for sneaking somebody in again.
Another one, bro. You knew. Okay, so before Tuesday's game, the Rockets, who is it? Daniel House. They were like, oh, he's a late scratch, but we didn't know why. We're thinking, oh, maybe it's COVID protocol, maybe it's, sick or something. Well, later that day, turns out, oh yeah, he's being exited from the bubble for having one of the staff people who check you for COVID in his room. But it's like you didn't bring anybody from outside the bubble. You brought somebody from inside the bubble into your space. Is that really bad?
It should be okay, in my opinion. But I mean,
is he married? Does he have a girlfriend?
I don't know all that.
I don't know.
So if he's single and he's hollering at some girl that does a test and she's single and she's already within the compounds of the bubble, what's the problem?
For real.
They was mad. They kicked him out because they thought maybe it would give him some extra juice and the Rockets would win the game. That's honest.
But if I remember right, I think she was able to leave the bubble and come back.
Okay. Maybe that's why.
What a whore.
What do y'all? So how many teams are
inconsiderate?
How many teams are left in the the end or whatever, the playoffs?
4, 5.
5
so
teams? Okay.
6. So the Celtics are now clear to play the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Western Conference Finals are still in the semifinal range. So if the Lakers win today, they're in. If the Clippers win tomorrow, they're in.
Who are they playing?
Lakers, Rockets, Clippers, Nuggets.
Okay.
So we'll know pretty much by Saturday, if not on Monday, the latest, what the conference finals are going to look like. So we're still a few days away, low key.
Okay. Cool. And then who do y'all got for to win it all? I mean, I know you guys. That's basically both your teams right there. Well, Daniel, you used to be a Laker fan, right? And then Joey, you are a Clipper fan, so I know you want them to go. You think you guys got what it takes to finish it?
I will just correct you. I was never a Lakers fan. I was a Kobe fan.
You were a Kobe fan. Okay.
He was a Kobe fan. I'll give him that one. He was a Kobe fan, but he was rooting for the Lakers when he was on them, so I ain't gonna forget.
But yeah, my team actually didn't even make it, but so I really want to see the.
Yeah, you're the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I'm the Timberwolves, so they didn't make it, but we won our own thing. But we talked about that a couple weeks ago. It's about to be ball season, but
oh my god!
But I want to see the Clippers versus the Heat. That's what I want to see. I want to see LeBron get almost there and fail, just because I'm a little bit ego, a little in my heart.
Oh my gosh!
I'd like to see the Clippers regardless. The East, it don't matter. I'll take the Heat or the Celtics, either or. It's a good matchup either way.
I was just getting ready to ask who do you think would give you guys better odds if you guys go?
Oh, odds. I'm gonna say the less tough team. I think we have a better chance of beating if we get to the finals. We have a better chance of beating the Celtics than the Heat. The Heat got that
Jimmy Butler.
Butler. You know what I'm saying?
They got that hot 97.
His hair looking rough, his skin looking rough. He ain't got nothing to lose. Jimmy Butler out here just cashing, calling out folks and finishing them pretty much.
Yeah. He there on a mission. That's gonna be a hard competitor for sure. I think that's about it.
We covered games real quick. Did we not talk about how Madden got the second lowest rating of all time for a video game?
I didn't look into that, but I heard about that.
Yes.
Daniel, you want to go?
It is very true. I think they got a 0.2 Metascore. So it's the worst sports game ever, and it's the second worst game ever. There's some random war game that came out, I think, like 10 years ago that everybody hated. That's the only thing holding them back. It got rated because it had so many bugs in it when it launched. Everybody that does franchise, like how we do franchise, they got nothing. It was pretty much they bought a roster update, which is what I was saying. What made me quit Madden in the first place. all they did was buy a roster update. They pretty much funneled all of their money into microtransaction modes, which is MUT and the Yard.
Damn.
And so
yeah, that's trash. I'm done. I'm done with Madden, bro.
Y'all was hyping up the defense. I remember y'all was hyping up the defense in the group chat.
No, they
did like they were making considerable changes, like some real.
They did.
They made a.
The stuff that they talked about in the trailer is actually working. That stuff actually works. But the bugs that are popping up is people are hiking the ball and like the entire field is disappearing. You'll hike the ball and none of the you can't see any of your players running around. You're just like holding the ball. And stuff like that. It's happening. Everybody's just like, what is this trash? Like, how did y'all give us? There's already been 4 updates on that game. It's only been out 2 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah, no, I'm Gucci. I'm gonna start experimenting with other sports games like I used to when I was young. You ever play like Mario Tennis?
Wow,
I haven't played that in so long.
But it's dope, son. I'm telling you, we gotta start playing some throwback games.
I just picked up Tony Hawk 1 and 2 again,
bro. I'm waiting for payday so I could download it. I'm downloading it next Friday.
I got a lot of. Let's go into the announcements real quick then, because a lot did drop. We can start off with the games too. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is a terrible name in my opinion. The reveal trailer came out. A bunch of gameplay trailers came out. It looks, just like every other Call of Duty.
People are hating.
Some people are. Yeah, some people are stoked about it. Some people don't like it. I never like personally. I'm just not a fan of Call of Duty in general. But I'm always down for a good old fashioned, not really good old fashioned, but a new fashioned, what's it called? How do I forget the damn name? Battle Royale. There we go. Low key, it makes me wish that a new Battlefield will come out and we kind of see that mode with a new Battlefield, like a legit one, not like this World War II crap that they've been trying to pull us on for the last like 3 or 4 years or whatever. And Warzone is still on and popping. It's cool. It's a fun game mode. I'm pretty sure. I think they said they're going to make a new one for the new game. But all the stuff that's in the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is supposed to be available for Warzone, and it will continue. Like the Warzone will basically keep continuing for as long as it can go. I guess all the items, all the characters that drop, they're gonna be in Warzone as well. So keep a lookout for that. As that game keeps getting updates. What else? Tony Hawk, like you said, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 both dropped as well, and so did Marvel's Avengers. I actually thought about downloading that the other day, and then I watched Before You Buy, and I was like, I'm not gonna buy.
And a bunch of people were hating. Go ahead. A bunch of people were hating that new Call of Duty game just because Ronald Reagan was in it. I
like that fact.
I've seen hella memes. it was like press X to send drugs to the ghettos or something like that, or send drugs and guns to the ghettos.
I'm just excited to finally fight a war in video games that isn't foreign. I'm tired of going to France and Normandy, bro. Bring that shit to the States. Bring a Civil War game.
Ooh, shit.
North versus South,
Chicago
type.
But
wow.
But it's crazy because they put Reagan in it, and it's called Black Ops. Like, oh my goodness.
I'm confident now. That's hilarious.
Wow. You went there. Oh man.
I'm strictly gonna cop just because if I do play Warzone. So like if they do incorporate some of the new stuff and get a new map and blah blah blah, I'm gonna play. You know what I'm saying? And let's be honest, like the new games, like the actual game for, Cold War or whatever, the story mode, those story modes take what, a day or two? Like if you really sit down and play it?
So pretty much, I think.
That's a fact. Yeah, like a couple hours, honestly. Also, I'm sure we don't really care because we're like Team PS5, but Xbox dropped a price tag for the Xbox Series X, and there's actually also an Xbox Series S coming out, which is just a smaller version. The graphics capability is supposed to be a little bit less. It's like 1440p is like the max it can go or something like that. And then it's supposed to have like a 500 gigabyte hard drive, basically. The price tag for the Xbox Series S is $299, which is basically $300-something. And then the price tag for the Xbox Series X is $499, which is basically $500-something. As far as I know, PS5 has yet to drop the official price tag for the PS5. I think there was rumors about it that it was supposed to drop like a day or two ago, and it didn't happen as far as I researched. And, we're still waiting to see what that's going to look like. But the odds are not looking very good for a, what's the word I'm looking for? A cheaply priced PS5 based upon the prior research as well. Yeah, I know one version is going to be no discs and one version will be able to take discs. So maybe that might, change the balance of the scales. Maybe like one version's $499, the other version's $399, which is kind of weird to make a game make a console that can hold discs $100 more expensive than the one that can't hold discs, but whatever. Anyway, hopefully that price comes out soon and we can start pre-ordering. Pre-orders start for the Xbox in September, late September, I believe, and it's going to be available in November, if I'm not mistaken. So be on the lookout for that for all you Xbox fans.
Just in time for Black Friday, huh?
Holiday season,
Kwanzaa?
Movies. Oh, wow. Movies and TV, we got quite a bit going on. Netflix just dropped Cobra Kai like a week or two ago, and that's been all the rage.
I just finished watching it, bro. Like
Cobra Kai was my shit. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Robbie's a whole ass nigga. Hawk is a whole ass nigga. Miguel,
Robbie's chill.
Sam and Tori don't deserve Miguel. Miguel is my guy, bro. Miguel is my guy. He's the best character in the show. He will fold Robbie in a real fight. Robbie lucky he showed him mercy. He don't want the smoke with Miguel. That show, bro. I legitimately.
And now he's fighting for his life.
For real. Legitimately, I have been watching the last 3 episodes of that show when I go to sleep for like the last week. After I finished it, over and I turn off the, done with the games or whatever, put my little pajamas on, turn on TV, and then just like, all right, I'm going to go to sleep watching Cobra Kai. And every night, and I'm just like, dang, man, like, what, bro, I saw the behind the scenes of the fall that Miguel takes. Even with what they did was basically like at the bottom of like that staircase, there's like a little wall on the top or whatever, right?
Spoiler alert.
Whatever. Spoiler alert. So there's like a little wire that they gave the guy. I'm assuming it's not him. I believe it's his stunt double. They put a little wire on him, but he still drops from that distance or whatever. But they like hold him and they go action, and then it starts and he falls or whatever. Bro,
20 feet.
Bro,
it's a cold 20 feet.
That shit was still super high, and that was a metal beam on his back. I don't know if he had some kind of cushion or plate on his back, or maybe they did something to the beam or something. Bro, that shit looked painful as hell still. I don't care who you are. That shit looks mad painful, bro.
Isn't it crazy the weird feeling that Kreese brings when he enters? When he's like, yo, he was the sensei of Cobra Kai 30-something years ago. He's still creepy. He's still like one of the mean mugs I've ever seen.
Yes.
In any movie. He's got like a natural, like, this dude is evil, even when he's not trying to be. He's like the perfect, like, he's not even well, I guess you could say villain, but he's like the perfect, like, bad energy to a show.
For sure. I definitely appreciate his character being introduced at the end of season 1 and then, being around for so much in season 2. It was really an interesting dynamic just to kind of see his and Johnny's relationship. Kind of.
How many seasons do you see this going to? Because if you think about it, like, LaRusso and Johnny just became friends. Like, they just got along.
And then it fell apart again. Yeah.
It falls to shit. So, like, it's so crazy.
I see a couple things happening, but I feel like 4 seasons max, maybe 5, pushing it.
Yeah.
I see, and there's the reasons why are I feel like Robbie and Miguel obviously need to kind of fix that whole dichotomy that they got going. Wow, that's not what I was gonna say. They need to fix their relationship, or lack thereof. They never really had one to begin with, but that needs to kind of be fixed. Like they got to get the friendship in there somewhere, or something extremely bad needs to happen, which has happened, and then they got to fight about it. Like they've had 2 fights so far, and people say, oh, Miguel cheated that first one. The second one, Miguel didn't cheat, gave him mercy, and he basically won. He was serving him up, but then Robbie wanted to fight dirty or whatever, right? So they got to get at least one more fight in, and I think that Johnny and Daniel need to get a real fight in. They kind of had it in season 2, but it didn't end. They need to get that one sensei fight out the way, at least.
That's the phase,
one of them. Johnny needs to. I want, like, it's weird to say this, but Daniel-san is an asshole. Every time I think about Karate Kid now, I'm just like, no, you were just a dick. You moved in on his girl. You sucker punched him at the beach in front of his friends. Like, of course I would have beat your ass too, little bitch. Like.
But you know what? You learn a lot about Johnny, the new sensei, in this one, and there's times where you actually feel bad for him. You're like, yo, like,
yes, I love that about the show. I love that about it.
I completely appreciated that factor where it's like, I'm not seeing LaRusso as like a jerk so much as I am like, I can see how both of their point of views made their conflicts seem bigger than what they were.
That's what the show does so well. It's not even it's not great acting or anything like that. What ties it in, or the way that it works, for me at least, is that
story.
Just seeing the how people see things in a different way. Like when you're the central focus of your story, you feel like people are doing you wrong or have done wrongs to you or whatever. Maybe every once in a while you can kind of see where you did something wrong or you did bad or whatever. But typically, for the most part, you kind of like, oh man, that guy did me wrong or whatever. He did this and that, and it's like that's kind of what we're seeing from Karate Kid. We're seeing the story for the most part through Daniel-san's eyes. But then when you hear Johnny tell his side of the story, he said he moved in on his girl, and I guess that they were like broken up at the time, but he basically moved in on his girl. He sucker punched him at the beach, which if you watch back those movies, he did do both of those things. He definitely sucker punched him. He sucker punched him because he was angry or whatever, and it was fine or whatever. He was being kind of a dick, so he punched him or whatever, right? Then he said, I hadn't seen him for months. And to us, we think it's right. It's like the next day, maybe next week or something, right? When he's at the Halloween party or whatever. To us, it seems like right away. He said he hadn't seen that dude in months. He was in the bathroom, and then he dumped water over him with the little shower curtain thing or whatever. And it was just kind of like, well,
that wasn't that true. I remember that part of the movie where they were going to the dance and they had bumped into each other before, and he already said something. So then when he watched him go to the bathroom, then he did that. So like, there was. This is a perfect example of those moments where people always say there's 3 sides to every story: his side, and then the truth. Right?
Yeah.
So like, this show does a really good job of exposing like the truth, and you, as a viewer, you don't really get upset or mad at either side, because now you understand, oh, because the timing or the timeline of this is how you felt, this is how you felt. So pretty much after like the first season, you're pretty much waiting for Johnny and Daniel-san to like
make up.
And as soon as they do, and it was a good scene, by the way, like they went out to eat with their girlfriends and shit, you know, wife or whatever. And it's so weird that both of their kids or who they're bringing in, it's just, it ties in a bunch of different ways.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's a good.
I found myself on Johnny's side a lot. He got a great taste in women, first of all. But
is she hot? Is she hot? Like, that's all he cares about. It's so funny, bro. Hey, it's so on point.
He's like, she's smart, she's funny.
They also did a really good job of aging them. Not that they didn't age on their own. I mean, aging them because even though they've been around for the last 30 years in person and they know how technology works, they know how social media works, they had to pretend like they were oblivious.
Yeah.
So they had to, what's this? Apps? Oh, I'm done with these apps. Or, how do you, swipe? Oh,
my smartphone.
Oh, I have she was like, oh, it's my smartwatch. It was like, oh, I check my emails on my smartphone. It's so funny, bro. What else we got?
I got a quick random question though about the rest of the seasons. Do you think they've left the door open for a Jaden Smith arrival, since he was a Karate Kid as well?
Oh my God! Please.
I'm good. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna mess with the integrity of the way these guys are fighting right now. I just don't see Jaden linking up in that story right now.
Yeah, for sure. Me neither.
There's a chance though, Daniel. I won't lie, man. There's a chance because he fits the age range. You know what I'm saying? He's done some kind of fighting.
He's one of those Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber looking motherfuckers.
I hope not, though, to answer your question. I hope
also another drop that happened was The Boys season 2 dropped on Amazon. There's 4 episodes out currently. Be sure to check that out. It's a dope show. A lot of people like it. It's super gory, so if you're into that type of stuff, it's like dark superhero stuff. It's really good. In music, there was a ton of releases. Rich Brian dropped an EP in 1999. Big Sean dropped his album Detroit 2. Which, by the way, quick side comment. Daniel had me listen to Detroit 1, and I forgot that I had actually listened. I probably listened to like half that mixtape before. The other half I wasn't really feeling. And compared to Detroit 2, I feel like I like more songs in totality on Detroit 2, but I feel like there's more memorable songs on Detroit 1.
That's facts.
Yep, definitely true.
I'll give you that.
What do you think was the best song off Detroit 2?
I gotta listen to it a few more times before I
might say, I low-key might say Deep Reverence, just because of the impact it has, as far as like hearing Nipsey, hearing him sound so present and not like old. You know, like a lot of times when deceased artists are put on a track, it sounds old. Their rhyme sounds old. They're talking about old stuff. None of it. He didn't have to go into that lane. He was talking real. He was talking about deep stuff, and it didn't sound outdated or anything like that. The vocals didn't sound super terrible or like super old, like it was recorded 10, 20 years ago. I mean, I know he passed away just last year, but you get what I'm saying overall. Like, I think it sounded really good. And as far as the rest of the tracks, there were definitely some great features on it and some good songs, but for whatever reason, that song and
I probably like Harder Than My Demons.
That's a good one too.
I like a few songs.
My favorite one was Wolves.
Oh, that was a good one too. Lucky Me was my other favorite song on that album
too.
He definitely has some good songs on there for sure. Maybe in time we'll hear them more as classic or memorable songs.
Wolves was a good song, but I'm surprised he didn't go with the one that got Ty Dolla $ign on it.
Oh yeah, that's his boy.
That's Ty Dolla $ign's boy right there.
That one was a little too slow for me. I liked that one, but I kept going back to Wolves like over it. That got the most play out of all the songs for me was Wolves.
Gotcha. Jaden Smith also dropped an album, speaking of him, called C3 TV. King to God, I believe that was the name of the album, by Conway the Machine. He's one of the members of Griselda. And I think that's about it. That's all I got. I know other songs and singles and stuff like that have dropped, but I wasn't really tracking that. I was mainly tracking more albums. Yeah, definitely check those albums out, guys, if you guys want to listen to some good music. And unless you guys got anything else, that's about it, right?
We got any rap? Oh, any Ratchet news? Y'all heard about the Tory Lanez?
Oh,
supposedly he texted Megan and he was like, "I'm sorry, I was too drunk." Bro, what kind of excuse is that, bro? Get slapped.
That is the worst. That is the least manly, the worst excuse, the most sorry ass. I'm only 5'3".
That's a bitch excuse. That's what females use.
I can't hold my liquor, so I'm gonna shoot a female. Like, I really hope they get his ass, and I hope they lock him up now at this point. And I don't really be wishing people to get locked up, you know, because it's just kind of like that's kind of a grim fate. But it's like at this point, man, you kind of deserve it. You deserve it, bro.
Like whether he's locked up or not, he just look. You got exposed for being the bitch that you are. It shouldn't come with a paycheck. That's all I'm saying. Absolutely. Whatever you got right now, that's fine. But as moving forward, fame, all that stuff,
freeze those assets, buddy.
Yeah, I just hope we just cancel you all the way around.
Yes, sir.
And also, have y'all noticed? This bitch Adele is wildin'. Have y'all seen her?
The Jamaican stuff. The Jamaican stuff.
Adele is like, she got her hair in knots, right? Like a bunch of different
the Bantu knots. The Bantu knots.
She got Bantu knots, Daniel. And then she wearing like see-through black, yellow, and red, like Rasta color.
She said, "What going from the other side?"
Wow.
From the other side.
That Negro put the magic on her, huh? Good Lord.
Bro, I'm telling you. And nobody gonna check her because she's from the UK. You know what I'm saying? They're a little different over there. You know what I'm saying? But that shit's going on right now. That's kind
of speaking of Adele, what about Odell, who likes to get pooped on?
Man, oh man.
Hell to the no, bro. First of all, did you see who made that claim?
Oh, ill. Yes, I did, but ill.
Bro, come on. Like, I don't got a problem with whatever a man likes, whether it's weird or not. You're not touching me, so that's not my business. One, if you're in a spotlight as a person, like meaning you have fame to a degree, you know that everything you say can be used against you in the court of the people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just 100. People are going to try to expose you. But why would you have a conversation like this? If it's true, why would you have a conversation with this with somebody like her? Who was it?
It's Chief Keef's baby mama. I don't know her real name.
What a title. What a fucking title. You're whatever rapper's baby mama. What does she have to do with anything?
And I believe this is like his baby mama from like when he was like first coming up or something like that too. I don't think it's like one of his later baby mamas.
When he was beefing with 6ix9ine and 6ix9ine went to go hang out with her and shit?
No. This is a different one. He got a lot of kids, but with different women. But this is like his baby mama from like his original come up, like in the early last decade.
Was she white too?
I don't think she's white. I want to say she's some kind of
light skin or Mexican or something.
Maybe like mix or something. I'm not really sure, but I don't really like. First and foremost, I'm gonna say pause. Odell Beckham is a handsome man.
Odell Beckham is a great wide receiver. He been shitting on people for so long. He figured, hey, when somebody gonna dump on me?
I don't, it's not that I don't believe that he might be into something like that, which I personally really don't. And it's not really important at all, but I don't think that he would do that with her. Like that, Odell Beckham could get so much better looking women. Not that should be the focal point of the woman that you want is looks, but I mean, there was like rumors of him talking to Zendaya about a couple years ago, like, and I'm sure other women, unless he's sweet, like supposedly some people have been saying.
That might be a front. You know, a lot of guys who are really sweet go after the most desirable or beautiful women to social standards.
For sure.
So that nobody questions them like that.
So then when I see who's claiming this or saying this, and I'm just like, man, I don't see it. Like, one, I don't see why he would want that. And two, I just don't see him wanting that from you.
Just like when that big girl came after Usher.
Yeah, like what?
Oh, yeah, he's trying to get me in the back. Look, sir, if you don't sit down, that's messed up. Just like all those extra women after they try to lock up Bill Cosby, and some of those ugly white chicks were like, "Yeah, me too."
Oh
and the whole room just like, "Bitch, not you. Sit down." You know damn well. You know you did not age well, baby girl. The '90s was not good to you,
for real.
You don't deserve no
pop. Oh, we had the recently we had the Brandy versus Monica, the verses.
You know, I actually didn't watch that, but I'm sure that Brandy got Monica up out of here though.
I didn't watch it either, and I know Brandy has a few more memorable hits, even though Monica's probably the better songwriter because Brandy was born into a musical family. You remember Ray J's like her brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like she grew up with, and she was on TV. So I didn't think it was a good matchup, to be honest. I was rooting for Monica, but I knew Brandy was probably going to spank that ass. And then there's a thing going on social media right now asking, because Boosie had that interview on Vlad talking about who would you like to see in the versus battle, and he said nobody touching R. Kelly. And I said from jump, I kind of agree right now. I don't see anybody beating R. Kelly in a versus hits battle.
Ooh-wee.
I mean, he could even throw the what is it? The Toon Squad, the soundtrack for Space Jam. Because he's a producer on that movie Life. He was the main producer on that. He produced for Maxwell, like all type of people. When you realize how many hits this dude's a part of, ain't nobody touching him. I was gonna ask you guys, who do you guys want to see in a versus battle?
Who do I want to see in a versus battle?
Who's close enough in catalog and equal amount of talent? You know what I'm saying?
That's a toughie, just because I feel like if I think of somebody off the top of my head, then it would be hard to evenly compare, like, because just as far as like time, like thinking about what they really had, how far they impacted. Like, I know people were talking about T.I. and 50 Cent, and I feel like 50 Cent had not necessarily a longer run, album, but he was like, they were dominating, dominating. Like if he played Get Rich or Die Trying, and versus anything from T.I., like it would be like the whole album would win automatically.
12 of those 15 tracks were on the radio every day.
Yeah, like it's stuff like that. And then like the first G Unit album, like these are songs that were like, T.I. was great, don't get me wrong, but these are songs that we're talking about that like this was G Unit was Young Money before Young Money was a thing. That's the route G Unit was on until the game was like, fuck you guys. Until he had his beef. If they would have stuck together like that, I'm sure overall in the end that they would have been just as big, if not bigger than Big Young Money.
I was thinking for the way, like men, I can think of all day, and I don't want to just say that there's better men in music, but in recent history, I was thinking about for the female side, who got more hits than Missy Elliott?
As far as rapping,
ain't no matchup for Missy Elliott.
I could think of one. The only person I could even think that comes somewhat close is maybe Little Kim, but even still,
fuck no, that bitch getting stopped. That bitch getting stopped real chop.
So it'll probably have to be Nicki. If it's gonna be her, it'll probably have to be Nicki.
Oh, she's still getting stomped, man.
Yeah, she is, but that'd be the closest one though.
Missy Elliott's like China in the WWE. She got to fight men.
Yeah,
because that's how hard her catalog's coming, bro. I'll see Missy Elliott versus Busta Rhymes. That's what I'm trying to see right there. That's gonna be a hype fest right there. That's my vote.
I kind of want to see the Drake versus Kanye. I really want to see that too.
That's Kanye is a person who is masterful with music. Literally the highest paid musician of all time. But when you think about Drake being somewhat of a wave rider, and somewhat even say like to a degree kind of like a vulture for certain sounds, is it really the same talent level? Like I don't think Drake is more talented than Kanye musically.
Well, that's more of the new age Drake. I mean, we talk about the old school Drake and the old school Kanye. They were having hits for years.
Let's be honest though, the versus battle is not finna go down like that. And music significantly changed from 2004 to post 2010. I don't see Kanye walking away with a win on that one, even if he does play all of his 808s and heartbreaks and stuff like that. I just think Drake's albums are too hype, and he has too many memorable bars that the entire population is gonna side with.
I can't even imagine that room, the two of those people together, like Drake with his entourage in there, like going crazy, going ham, and then Kanye just kind of like sitting there, just like staring into the camera, just kind of like. And then
I want to see a tag. I want to see a bands now. I'm ready for a tag team battle.
That'd be kind of dope. A band, that'd be kind of sick. Or group.
I'm ready for it. Or some old head
band.
Wow.
Who?
All right, folks, this has been another installment. Man.
Mike Jones, anybody? No, I'm just playing.
Wow.
Mike Jones.
Mike
Jones was that dude for one whole summer.
Yeah.
The summer of 2005 was literally Mike Jones everywhere.
Mike Jones versus Paul Wall.
Paul Wall wins.
Paul Wall wins over Mike Jones?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Paul Wallaby wins over Mike Jones.
Okay, what about Chameleonaire then? So we just go. I think
that's a better fight in my opinion than Mike Jones.
Chameleonaire, Paul Wall. No, Mike Jones had back then flossing, still tipping. That song called Turning Lane, which was pretty hard. That song Cutting, What You Know About It, Know What I'm Saying, and that was just one album, but that was probably all it was. Well, Paul Wall wasn't a better rapper though, like artist.
I don't know. I favor Paul Wall personally over Mike Jones.
Overuse of the violin and trap music, just overusing it.
Paul Wall, just for whatever reason, I just gravitated towards him heavily when that sound was kind of like the big thing, you know? Him, Chameleonaire, Mike Jones, all those guys, Slim Thug. Like, there was a lot of people who were coming up from the South, and I just feel like Paul Wall was kind of like my guy at that time.
What we really need is the originators of trap music to come represent themselves. T.I., Young Jeezy, and Gucci Mane. I need all those three to step up at once.
That will never happen. Ever.
I'm not gonna lie, the South puts on hard for Gucci Mane.
Yes, but
real hard.
But Gucci Mane will never be in the same room as Young Jeezy unless we want some problems. That will never happen.
He'll serve Jeezy too. By the way, Gucci Mane's a giant. He like 6'4".
He would serve him. He would serve him with a firearm and a casket. That's what he would do.
Remember when Daniel had a Jeezy the Snowman shirt?
Oh.
Tell him, chill. Yeah,
Snowman.
Hey, Jeezy had some great shit back then too, though.
Oh shoot,
he had that Hustler's Motivation 101.
Young Jeezy was fire for sure. He was definitely a lot of people's boom boom clap, boom boom clap.
About Akon. Akon was on a rip for a hot second. Akon was like the 2010s Nate Dogg kind of.
You know, he was on
everybody's shit.
He was on Old Boy's new album too with the Locked Up Part 2, but we don't need to talk about that.
That was so trash.
I'll take an Akon versus T-Pain.
Did you hold on? Did you just say that was so trash?
Yeah, that song he made. That
Did you listen to that?
I did.
Which song?
I did. But let me tell you why I listened to it. Me and my nephew had it's a Locked Up remix with 6ix9ine and Akon.
I'm not listening to that shit.
No, I didn't listen to it by choice. Me and my nephew, we were hanging out over for the holiday weekend, and we had a versus battle between us. He thought he knew better music to be, and then he threw up that song, and I was like, "Yo, no, you lose."
Locked Up remix?
Yes.
A remix that took place 15 years later.
Yes, sir. And it does
with a guy who literally was only locked up for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Because he snitched his way out. Okay. Yeah, great song choice.
You were locked up and they let you out, just so you guys both know.
Did he have an album drop too recently?
That's what I didn't want to get into. Yes, he did.
And I just saw a video today of him disrespecting Nipsey Hussle. I wonder how Joey feel about that.
Is that real?
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago. He was out in LA and he went to the mural saying, "I know Nipsey's looking down on me," and all this. It was on Instagram.
Why is that disrespectful?
No, it's what he said after that. Because he was just like, "Why they're like 6ix9ine? Why do you walk around with so much security?" And he was just like, "Because your favorite rapper got a hole in his head. That's why."
Oh damn, that's crazy.
He actually brings that up a lot. He's not actually talking about Nipsey specifically, but he's a huge advocate for calling out people that call him out on like, "Oh, you're pussy, you got all security, and you think you're hard when you go into the corner or whatever." And then he goes, "Well, he's like, I'm not stupid enough to be walking out here without security. Like, you see all these rappers dying because they don't got nobody with them or whatever." And it's like, I get it, but I don't like the situations he put himself in. That's the biggest reason why I don't like him. You put yourself in these situations for no reason. You don't need to be in situations.
Somebody who did unnecessary things for clout, for the finances. It's literally how you started is how you finish, bro. And you see his world kind of crumbling little by little, gaining a less following, music not getting kind of broadcasted type of shit. So it is what it is. Like I just think for what he was trying to accomplish, he did at the perfect time, and it came down, not how he was expecting. But for somebody who was just clout chasing and trying to get famous online and blah blah, 2018, 2019, 2020 was the time to do it. So he kind of fell in line with that. So I pretty much see it as a dumbass who was smart in some ways, but really was kind of stupid, you know what I mean? Who had a little bit of talent and a lot of luck and made something of himself, but didn't care to make himself something respectable. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember who we're talking about. We're talking about people who getting face tattoos of shit that don't like mean shit to them, like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to give off this persona of somebody who's tough and shit like that, but it's like, bro, like we know what kind of weenies y'all are, whether you need security or not.
L7 weenies.
L7 weenie. It just hurts me that one of the most famous Mexicans in America is this dude. Last name Hernandez, bro. Like, come on, y'all making us look bad. Like, making us look real bad.
Last thing before we get out of here real quick, I know Daniel been dying to talk about this. Dr. Dre and his wife divorcing, her $2 million price tag. You got what you got. Oh, he about to go. He about to go.
Before Daniel goes, this girl not only wants an arm, a leg, and like half of his freaking catalog, right? She says until the courts figure out what our situation is, before the courts figured out, she wants a temporary $2 million a month until the court settles what the actual alimony is, if there is one.
And that's a trap in itself, because if he can pay out $2 million temporary, that's the number they're going to start at for the actual alimony.
Exactly. So I'm trying to drive the price up with the temporary. Fuck out of here. You don't need all that. Her phone bill, they locked up her phone bill as 20 racks. Excuse me. What kind of phone calls are you making for $20,000?
It said, what did it say? Phone? It said phone, text, and like an email. And it's like, bro, all that stuff is free. What you talking about?
It comes with
even the most expensive company phone lines that have 200-300 phones on them, their bills come out to like $4,000 a month. Don't tell me that a $20,000 phone bill is the reason why you need $2 million a month for you and them damn kids. What are y'all eating? Gold? The fuck is wrong with you? You don't need $2 million.
Yeah,
that's people just squeezing you for everything you got.
Yeah, definitely. I looked up the stats. It takes about 300,000 max to raise a kid from birth all the way through 18. She's trying to get 10 times that amount in 1 month, bro. It makes no sense. I hate women that do this, women that look like her. Anything. I can't stand it when people do this, man. It's just like it's completely obvious that you were probably just with him for the money, and you waited till it was a perfect time. And
I don't like
the crazy part is that she waited so long, and they got married in California, that he has to pay her whatever the amount is for the rest of her living life, the rest of her natural life, even after both of them have split up, have gotten married to somebody else. Once your marriage hits 10 years and you get a divorce, you are out paying alimony the rest of the natural life of your partner. And that's not even on top of the child support he's going to have to pay. He's going to have to pay. He's going to have to pay her lawyer fees. He has to pay on top of his own.
What if she remarries? What if she falls in love and remarries and she's supported somewhere else? What does my money and my expenses have to do with you and your new life?
It doesn't.
It's called laws made by white people that don't make any sense, and they need to be fixed, but they're never going to do it because they're still in control of everything. That's what it is.
I don't understand that shit. That's just so stupid. And it's crazy because like when people come, this is what I don't like about like our society is when people come together and get married, usually finances is a problem. They're worried about, now we got to get joint checkbooks, or we got to do this, or we got to do that. How are taxes going to work? Blah, blah, this and that. When people take a leap of faith and they choose to get married and they're like connected, they're in love. It's a mental connection. It's a soul thing that you feel. But as soon as it's over, all that emotion and shit isn't the reason why, like, we're gone with emotions. Let's just part ways so I can be happy. No. I got to drain you for everything that you got too.
Yeah, they say it's not about money until it's about money. Like it's crazy how many times you've heard that growing up in your life, oh yeah, it's not about the money, that we get married for love and this and that. And then you're seeing every time one of these celebrities breaks up, it's some crazy enormous amount of money being split up, bro. It makes no sense.
Also, what I don't like, if you're a woman, and I don't want to make it the other way, if you're married and your partner is wealthy, you know what I'm saying, famous, whatever, you got money, right? At least for a certain amount of time. I'm not going to sit here and believe that you're at home living broke, but your partner is rich and got all the money and controlling you, right? Like, that's just bogus, right? People don't do that. If it is, that's fucked up. Just leave anyway, right? Because you're not gaining anything. But for most people, if you come into some money, whether it's by marriage or family or whatever, if you're not taking the opportunities and the finances while you have them to better yourself and get your own income and get your own this and that. So you mean to tell me you could be married to me, be lazy the whole time, not do anything to up your personal gain? As soon as we're done, you still need from me. Like, you didn't take none of that last 20 some odd years to benefit yourself.
Right.
Like, not once.
And the same thing is getting ready to happen to old boy too. I'm gonna call it now. Within the next 6 years, Patrick Mahomes, it's gonna happen to him too. Watch.
I'm not so sure about that one. He a light skin. He kind of half cat.
He's also met this woman before. They were like, she's his high school girlfriend, I believe. She's gone through him with college, and then she's still with him right now. And they haven't.
She's not leaving because she knew he was going to get paid when he was in high school.
She's just got a ring, so I'm sure she'll be around for the long haul. Fingers crossed,
Finances isn't a part of the reason why I would want to marry somebody. It would be a part of the reason why maybe I wouldn't want to marry somebody, but it should, if it's not something that's considered when going into a relationship, I don't agree with that. It should be considered when leaving a relationship. To me, that is just that's a total business. It makes marriage seem like a total business, and it makes me not want to even go down that route, to be honest, if that's how people acting.
Yeah, until the laws change and the divorce laws change and the family court laws change, there's really no benefit for men to be getting married out here.
That's honestly, I hate that I agree with that shit. There's almost no incentive for a man to get married out here anymore. What's the point? Especially, and that's why I said I don't want to limit it to that women aren't getting as much money, but on average in our nation, we know the numbers. Women don't get paid as much as men. That's the problem.
Hell no, that's a lie. That's a lie. It's a lie.
That's true.
No, that's true. I'm not talking about what you're saying. I'm sorry. I'm spacing the fuck out right now. And let's go cut this conversation real quick so we can get the last topic in, even though I keep saying it's the last thing, it's the last thing. I hella forgot about this whole cutie situation, right? So y'all both know with Anthony, Danielle's for like, but I'm gonna say husband. Y'all both know him, right? Yeah. So he just shared a post, tagged her in it, and it said, I don't know who this person is, but it says, I wanted to see why everyone is boycotting Netflix on Twitter, and this is why. The movie is called Cuties SMH, and they tagged Netflix in it. Bro, it's literally, so like, remember I shared the trailer and I was like, damn, I thought it was a documentary of some sort. It's kind of like exposing this kind of stuff or whatever, right?
It's like infant strippers.
But it's like, it's like it's a movie with a story or whatever, right? And the scene is like them literally dancing, like popping and like slapping each other's butts and stuff. It's fucking crazy, bro. Yeah, it's fucking insane, bro. Like, how could somebody ever in their life think that this was okay to make? I don't understand. Like how the fuck? Like how could you as a parent ever say to yourself, hell yeah, I'm going to put my daughter in this movie and exploit the fuck out of her and let people see her perform these acts in front of them? And it's weird because so I make this connection to an old video about the stripper dance back when crumping was a thing or whatever, right? Do you remember that movie by David LaChapelle? What the hell was it? Rise. That was the movie name. And they were talking about the stripper dance, and there's a scene where they talk about little girls being in the dancing or whatever, because they'll do like dance circles, and then everybody can dance, the kids, whoever, they'll dance or whatever. And then they try to say like the parents were like, oh, like what's wrong? Like nobody's touching her, nobody's doing nothing to her. Like it's totally okay. But now on the reverse side of it, I do see what's wrong with this, because I'm glad nobody's touching her. That's great. First, I'm gonna highlight that. That is good that nobody's there touching her, doing anything to her. But The problem comes in, what about afterwards? What about this footage that is being released? What about somebody else's prying eyes? We don't know what everybody's intentions are with this film.
That's the flip quote to that too, is even though you don't mean something with ill intention, you have to understand that when you're dealing with children, you do deal with the consequences of other people's ill intentions for what you're projecting.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be safe about that shit. That's why I'm very eerie about people who I know personally who have children, because the social media and getting money off of it is such a big thing right now. Especially through this pandemic with the rise of OnlyFans and all type of different outlets for making money just off of
Twitch is a huge one right now. Everybody got a Twitch now.
Exactly. So it's like people have full-blown Instagram pages for their children because they're trying to, I try to advertise them and their talents and blah, blah. Let them fucking grow up first. Like, stop doing that because and they're just going to say, I don't worry about weirdos because I'm not one and blah, blah. Yeah, but now you have to understand that not everybody out here is receiving the shit the same way that you're putting it out. Stop dressing up your little kids in all these fancy-ass little things showing all type of skin, because if they haven't noticed, especially on social media, have they not seen the Save Our Children shit? Have they not seen all these things being exposed? That shit is very real.
Have we not seen Hollywood is wilding the fuck out with all this shit too? Like,
Hollywood's literally on fire, bro.
Like, your blinders literally, your blinders literally have to be on when you take your daughter to this audition, and they're like, have your daughter twerk or whatever, and she's like a little 11, 10, 12-year-old girl. Like, what the hell goes through your head? Like, this is okay, this is totally fine. Whoever's judging her, they're all gonna.
Yeah, I was saying that before.
We've been having those little pageants.
The pageants thing is wild too.
Yeah, I was saying that earlier too, that it took 650 auditions. 650 parents decided to bring their kid here to twerk for some man or a group of adults, first of all. And that's when they were fully clothed. And then they had them take off some of their clothes too. And there's certain scenes in this movie from that YouTuber guy I was telling you about where they're actually flashing the camera. These 11-year-old girls are flashing this camera. They're actually showing their breasts to the camera to a bunch of adults, and they have in the movie, they have these guys that are real 18-year-old guys hitting on these 11-year-old girls in the movie. Like, it's disgusting, bro. That's the only word I can even think of to say right now.
That's so, man. I don't know. It's so scary to the point where even the things that aren't outright disgusting or outright just like risque or inappropriate, there's all types of hidden messages and things that we think are innocent too.
Yes.
So it's like, what do you really trust? You know what I'm saying? Do you stay away from the stuff that's outright crazy, or do you have to be wary of everything regardless?
You pretty have to be wary of everything regardless. The hills have eyes and the walls have ears, and I'm telling you, like, there's certain things that I've been paying attention to, that I grew up in, and I'm starting to realize as an adult, like, I had no idea this was as bad as it was, just because growing up as a kid, like, I had nobody was there to tell me, hey, this is actually this is actually this is actually,
exactly.
something evil.
And maybe, and a part of me thinks the world was better without all of that. Without all of the, like, social media and the internet really did have a lot of positive possibilities, but now we see how everything is random, manipulated, and used for evil. It's really disheartening, bro. And I'm not fucking with it at all. Yeah,
it's like how we talked about earlier about like exposure in music, like when you're kind of outed for like ghostwriting or lack of ability, if you will, and then it's like it's the same thing with everything else. It's like everything else gets exposed or put on blast, and it's kind of like, dang, like it was. Of course, everything was like, hunky dory when you had the blinders on, but then when they come off and you're just like, damn, this is what these people are doing, and it's like it's super messed up.
Yeah. I often feel like I'd be happier if I was clueless.
Yeah, I'm sure something will come up as far as this is concerned. Like either Netflix will say something, or maybe the director, or hopefully a child's. I haven't heard nothing from.
They're not finna say haven't heard nothing from the people. Put money. These people put money into those productions just for that. Ain't no way they apologizing for nothing, because the fact of the matter is there's people literally just watching it. Can you think about somebody actually at their home watching that shit and like touching themselves? You imagine that shit, bro? Like, that shit's really happening for things that aren't even little girls dancing. There's stuff where it's more innocent than that and people are like getting off to it. Imagine this now that's just catering to all that weird shit. As a parent, I wouldn't even play with it. I wouldn't even play with it. There's plenty of other opportunities for my child to be an actor or to be a dancer or to be this. For you to demean my child and expose themselves to these weirdos, I'm straight.
And now
I'm cool.
And now I feel like
all those adults I'm questioning.
And I feel like all these girls are just gonna grow up damaged from this too. Like everybody's thinking like, oh, she's gonna be some famous, she's gonna have the money. I feel like that's the parents pretty much sold their kids out. That's what I feel like.
You can't even show out on that. Oh, what's your resume? Well, when I was 7, I was in that movie Cuties. You can't eat like, oh, really? Like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like, what are you supposed to say? It's fucked up. Those kids don't have a chance. Kids can't sign up for work by themselves. There's literally an adult behind all of that who walked them up to an audition. Think about that shit. They literally walked them up to an audition. So it don't make sense to me. That movie's out. All the shit like that's out. I know everything is here today, gone tomorrow, but that to me is something that's not gonna just go away tomorrow for me. It's fucked up. And not to mention, Netflix is a popular site.
Yes, very popular.
Like, it's billions of views.
It's where Cobra Kai is.
Fucked up. It's fucked up.
It is. Man, I don't have any other topics, and this is kind of a dark topic to kind of end the show on, but I don't know if y'all got anything else, because I really am out of topics now, for real.
That's crazy. How do you top that, bro? That's crazy. I don't know. You top it, period. Make sure they got tops on and bottoms.
Yes, fully clothed.
I'm not watching that shit. I don't even want to watch the clips when people share them on social media.
It's just that was really traumatic to see. I was hoping it wouldn't be that bad, but then like just seeing that clip alone that he shared, it's just kind of like, damn, this is oh my God. Like you can't justify it with what you're quote unquote trying to do. You're doing the same exact thing that these people who are hypersexualizing these children, you're doing the same thing. I had already said it's so
hard. It's so hard to raise children now.
Oh yeah, I had said that a much better idea would have just been to like infiltrate a group of like a dance team or something that like uses little kids. Like do a documentary on that. Go there for a couple months or years, expose that culture. How they treat these kids, how they make them do whatever they do. Like there's a lot of dance teams out there. That would be the easiest way to try to expose the hypersexualization of children, if that's the case. I was saying, even compared to like my high school, we had 2 like street dance teams or hip hop dance teams. Both of them had more clothes on than these girls do in this movie, from like just the trailer alone. Like what the hell?
I vote to petition to change the name of Cuties to You Got Served a lawsuit. If they trying to dance, because all y'all deserve to be locked up for this. That's just not cool.
Shit is wild.
Especially if what Daniel's telling me is true, that behind the scenes, these people were like having these kids expose themselves physically. Oh no, I'm straight.
Fucking wild, bro.
Who do you trust, bro? Who can you trust?
Who do I trust?
If you
me, that's who.
People making money off of this shit.
It's crazy.
Broadcasting it, putting it up there with Cobra Kai.
Jesus. Not Cobra Kai, man.
I'm done.
Yeah, I got nothing else, man. Daniel, you done? You good?
I'm done, man.
All right, Piglets. This has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Remember, Piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone out there is staying safe, and if you can't be safe, be deadly. Catch you guys next time. Sorry for the wait, everybody. Hopefully we'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, stay tuned.